The number 11 most viewed Prageru video is this one. Where do you want to live? A red state or a blue state? Easy. I will pick the blue state pretty much every time. Yeah. Pretty straightforward. I'll pick the blue states because, that's by and large where the people are. A lot of red states are just what? There's nothing there. There's no jobs. There's no opportunities. There's no people. I'll get lonely, man. But let's listen to the actual arguments first before we jump down to conclusions, shall we? Prageru is always being the voice of ignorance. Prageru is always, you misspelled all of conservatism.
We're supposed to be the United States of America, but in many ways, we're now divided into two very different nations. There is red state America.
I don't like that already. Sure. Let's hear them out.
And there's blue state America.
Little pin in this, yes and no. This isn't like cleanly divided along state lines. It's not quite like it was with the first Civil War with the North and the South. Oh, big division. The North and the South. Wow. It's not like that now. There's people like this everywhere. Even California, which is like a majorly blue state. There were Trump rallies held in California, and they got thousands of people out to them. It's not exactly red state, blue state. There's people scattered everywhere.
The red states favor conservative, small government, free market policies.
We're getting some fun framing here.
Low taxes, light regulation, tough on crime policing.
Okay. Low taxes, light regulation, tough on crime, which means we're going to let corporations fuck everyone. And we hate brown and black people. That's what tough on crime means. We could read between the lines here. Low taxes, we don't care about poor people. I know that's not what they say. That's not exactly. And a lot of red state voters, that's not what they want. Specifically, that's not the reason why they vote that way, but it is still the consequences of voting for people who are going to push these policies. And ultimately, well, that kind of matters more. Oh, I saw a stat a while back that's like, of the 20th poorest counties in the United States, it's like 8 of them are in Kentucky, Mitch McConnell's state, and he keeps winning elections. I wonder if that might have something to do with it. All right.
And worker freedom.
Okay, that's disgusting. What the fuck does that mean to these people? Worker freedom? Wow, I didn't know this guy was a fucking socialist. What are you doing, Prageru? You platforming far-left commies now? I watched through this once before, and I was like dying halfway. This video throws a lot of dumb arguments at us, like a little more than the average Prageru video does, but this one, I don't remember all of them. I don't remember what worker freedom means to this guy. Do the workers own the means of production? Oh, they don't. Big corporations do because they're lightly regulated. Oh, light regulation is kind of contradictory to worker freedom, isn't it?
Think Florida, Texas, Tennessee, Arizona, and Utah.
Arizona's not a red state no more, Mr. Moore. That's right, baby. We voted Biden and we got 2 blue senators now. Bet you didn't see that one coming. Oh my way, Shinderu. And Stephen Moore goes, Nani? Premiered October 7th, 2020. Oh, just a month before the election. Oh, he misjudged that one. Also, I'm gonna add here, Florida is like a swing state. It's not red or blue, really. It's been leaning red for a while now, but it's still mainly like 50-50. And Texas here, it's still a red state, and it's going to be a red state for a while. But it's like, there's a fair amount of blue voters in Texas too. The major population centers in Texas, of course, Houston, Dallas. These are like the big economical powerhouses for the state of Texas, and they vote blue.
The blue states favor a liberal left big government approach, high taxes, heavy regulations, high minimum wages, and mandatory union membership.
The framing here actually isn't quite as bad as I expected. When you just look at it like this with a check mark, okay, kind of. It's not so bad. What does he mean by mandatory union membership? I'm not familiar with that. Unions aren't useless or basically non-existent, and the ones that do exist are police and fire department ones. It depends on where you are. Some of the grocery stores around here, like Kroger, like Kroger brand in Arizona, it's Fry's. They have union membership. It's not mandatory. I don't know about that, but they have unions, and it's like actually pretty good from what I hear. There's some other grocery stores around here that are union, but I don't I don't know all of them. I don't walk into a grocery store and ask the bagging clerk, hey, are you union? You should be. They'll be like, sir, leave me alone, please.
Think New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Illinois, Oregon, and of course, California.
All right. So there's some, obviously of note here, he's doing some cherry picking when he points out states. He left out Washington, Nevada, and now Arizona. Why do you leave them out? What's up with that?
Progressives like to argue that their big government, high tax policies are economically superior and thus better for the poor, minorities, and working class Americans than those of red states.
Yes, absolutely true. He's right. Thank you for making the argument for me, Mr. Moore. Is this guy like related to Michael Moore? That explains all the socialist arguments he's making. Isn't it like a majority of welfare programs pay back like 10 times the amount you put into them? Because when you put money into like a preventative welfare program, that stops those people from doing stuff down the line that the rest of society would have to pay for. Like, for example, okay, these people we pay for these kids to get education. Okay. Now they go on, they get better jobs, they pay more in taxes, they don't commit crime, they don't go to prison, we don't have to pay for them. It's like basic stuff like that. People get food from a food bank, they're not going to feel the need to go out and steal it. Now, how do you pay for the food bank? How do you pay for that stuff? That's right, you gotta pay for it with taxes. But it's like, we're the richest country on earth. We can afford it. It's no big deal, man.
Conservative policies, progressives contend, are culturally backward and tilted to benefit the rich.
Yes, absolutely true. We can point this out, too. Aha, look at this. There's not like a number there. That's not good. The people making the most money are paying less, percentage-wise, as the people in the lower incomes. Hey, how did that happen? It happened in 2018. Hey, that happened when Donald Trump was president. That happened when the conservatives were in fucking power. Hey, your policies did benefit the rich. Now they pay less as a percentage of taxes than I do. What's up with that, Mr. Moore? Hey, look at this one. Yeah. 400 wealthiest families. Bottom 50%. I've gotten my point across. He also said they were what now?
Are culturally backward.
I don't know if I started with that. I was mainly talking economics, but hey, if you want to talk about culture, yes. Guess what? Trans rights. Oh, Mr. Moore, I just blew out your entire argument. Which political group doesn't like LGBT people? What states make laws that hurt LGBT people? It's the red states.
And tilted to benefit the
I hope he gives some examples.
rich. Let's test this thesis
Yes.
by comparing three of the largest red states, Florida, Texas, and Tennessee, with three of the largest blue states, California, New York, and Illinois.
Wow. Ooh, trying to appropriate the language of science, but you're not even doing it right, Mr. Moore. Disgusting. I went to college. I took science classes. I wrote stuff. I think I know a little more than you do, pal. First off, let's test this thesis by cherry-picking 3 states. Need a larger sample size than that. Also, you're not adding a control group to this. This is the worst anime fight ever.
If progressive policies really work, then Americans should be rushing to get into the blue states. But just the opposite is happening. Americans are packing up their U-Hauls and heading to the red states.
As you can see from this informative animation they've made, people are leaving these 3 particular states over there and going to these 3. This is the argument he's laid out. Okay? Everyone, even the detractors here, even the haters, we're all on the same page on this. Right? Okay. What evidence do you think he's gonna provide? I guarantee you, whatever you're thinking, you're wrong. It's so much worse.
According to the New York Times, in August 2020, so many people wanted to leave New York City that moving companies were turning away business. They just couldn't handle the demand. This exodus may be accelerating.
His example is moving companies in New York City were fully booked. This is his evidence for people leaving New York, Illinois, and California for Texas, Tennessee, and Florida. Movie companies were fully booked. Wow. Bulletproof evidence The entire left wing is destroyed. This man, Mr. Moore, just committed another 9/11. Did he say what year it was before we attack that? I want to hear it.
20.
Okay, August 2020. First off, COVID? Wow, the largest city in the United States, one of the largest infection rates in the United States during one of the worst pandemics we've ever seen, and people are leaving. Wow. I don't think that's a red-blue thing. That's a we're all gonna fucking die thing. You said earlier, people are leaving these 3 states, going to these 3 states, these 3 blue states to these 3 red states. While this may be true, the evidence you've provided is a singular city in one of the states. Not people leaving New York, the state, but you're just looking at the city. You had a large sample size, now you jump to a smaller one, and you're ignoring the red states for whatever reason. Also, moving companies are booked. Okay, where are they moving? You haven't given me any data about where these people are moving to. Just that the moving companies are booked. Are they moving to another place in New York? Are they moving to the suburbs outside of New York City? I don't know. Funny how Prageru didn't provide that information. Any company turning down business that sounds suspicious? Not during COVID, it doesn't. It would make sense that maybe they're seeing a giant surge and it's like, well, we don't have the ability to meet everybody's needs. So you get on a waiting list. Actually, hold up. Let's take a look. Movers in NYC are so busy they're turning people away. Century-old moving company says the summer of COVID is insane. See, like I said, everyone wanted to flee New York because it was the epicenter, but at the same time, our movers started getting sick. No wonder they're not able to meet demand. No wonder they're turning people away. They don't have the employees to help to do the fucking work. They're getting sick. There's your answer. Wow, this is the article he cited. It really is amazing, like how often these people cite sources and then the source just kind of argues against what they think it says. It's like they just read the headline. We didn't know what summer would bring, so we didn't ramp up hiring as quickly. I like he didn't bring up COVID at all. Just a fun note. He didn't mention it.
Over the last decade, the 3 big blue states each lost an average of 1 million people to other states, while the 3 big red states gained almost 1 million from other states.
I looked into this, and this is actually true. Although, the population in all of these states is increasing. Anyone want to guess what might contribute to the difference in numbers like that? Oh, what's that? Oh, yeah. These 3 blue states that he's cherry-picked? California, New York, and Illinois. Anyone know what these 3 have in common? What's special about those 3? This is a rhetorical question. I'm going to tell y'all anyway. That's right. They are some of the most populous states. Most populated. They've got the 3 largest cities by population. It is still kind of weird that he's specifically singling out these states. Something just occurred to me. Texas, Tennessee, Florida all gained. California, Illinois, New York lost. But he mentioned more states than that at the start, didn't he? California exodus intensifies. All right. As retirees, teachers, musicians seek cheaper, less crowded pastures. Hey, look at that. It's like there's a lot of demand for land. Here we go. This is the graph I wanted. Why are more people leaving these states? Because there are more people to leave. When he made the argument here, why are more people leaving blue states and going to red states than leaving red states and going to blue states? Well, because the blue states have more people to leave in the first place. It's not like all 3 people in Wyoming are gonna pack up and move to the coast. I like that Kansas and Louisiana are on this list too. That's kind of funny. I didn't say this a moment ago because he's going to get to it later, but another factor for that is money. It costs money to move, especially across country. And if you're like a really poor person, you can't afford it. People in some of these states, top 3 up here, yeah, higher median income. Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit though. Total net domestic migration from 2018 to 2019. So it's just like the last couple years. Top 3 states on this list: Florida, Texas, Arizona. Not a coincidence that a lot of the highest intake states are swing states. You're goddamn right. Also North Carolina and South Carolina. North Carolina was pretty close in the election, wasn't it? Interesting. And then Georgia, and then Nevada. I'm glad you pointed that out, Sweet Popcorn. I'm getting too bogged down on this detail.
While the 3 big red states gained almost 1 million from other states. Makes perfect sense. Americans like freedom. Small government means more freedom, and freedom.
That's like a Ben Shapiro tactic right there. That's not the argument you made. You just snuck a premise into that one. You were talking about people leaving, and now you said, oh, it's because of freedom. So let me point this out. He started with people are leaving blue states for red states. Okay. To give evidence to support that, New York City moving companies are fully booked. Okay. Why is this the case? Because people like freedom. Mr. Moore, I think it might be time for your children to come, put you in a nice house, maybe not beachfront property because those are all blue states. Maybe they can have a nice window for you that's not looking at a dumpster, and it's just time. It's time. I'm sorry.
Americans like freedom. Small government means more freedom, and freedom means opportunity.
Small government means more freedom? No, small government means you create a power vacuum that someone else is going to fill, and they're still going to try to rule over you just the same as everybody else. That is the nature of power. It seeks to control. It seeks to consume. You need to have something in place to stop it, something in place to divide it up so it doesn't take too much and doesn't snowball out of control.
Let's say you're looking for a job. Over the last decade, Florida, Texas, and Tennessee have gained twice as many jobs as the progressive states. Not only that, but your money...
It's true, but they also got more room to grow. I'm willing to bet that the total amount of jobs that they had 10 years ago was like significantly smaller than it would have been, especially compared to the blue states 10 years ago. Just kind of a natural progression of economics, it seems. You can only cram so many people into LA before you start to hit a too many cooks in the kitchen sort of situation, right?
Florida, Texas, and Tennessee have gained twice as many jobs as the progressive states.
Hi, so editing attack here. That claim seems a little weird in hindsight. So anyway, I found this website that lets you track employment by states. Tennessee did not gain more than California. But notice that he's saying progressive states without specifying exactly what he means by that. Also note that he leaves out all these other red states here, but none of them have major population and economic centers quite like Texas, Florida, and Tennessee do. What with Orlando, Miami, Jacksonville, Florida. Texas has Houston, Austin, Dallas. Tennessee has Nashville. None of these other red states have any massive cities or economic centers quite like those do. I guess Louisiana's kind of close with New Orleans, but that's about it.
Not only that, but your money goes further in red states. According to a 2019 Tax Foundation study, your $100 stretches to $111 in purchasing power in Tennessee, while in New Jersey, it shrinks to $89.
Now, you know what he doesn't tell you, though. This is true. $100 has more purchasing power in Tennessee than it does in New Jersey. But, I guess we'll use Wikipedia again. List of U.S. states and territories by income. Cherry picking between Tennessee and New Jersey, I would add. Well, let's take a look at the median income of the states of Tennessee and New Jersey. Median household income. Tennessee, median income, $52,000. Tennessee is ranked 42 on the list. Damn, this is including territories as well. 56 on the list, 42. Yikes. Median income in New Jersey, $81,740. We're talking a difference of nearly $30,000 between the two states in median income. So when he says your money goes...
Look at Venezuela.
Look at Venezuela indeed. Congratulations, you're going to be in the video. So when Mr. Moore says your money goes further in Tennessee than it does in New Jersey, this is true. However, if you're working in New Jersey, odds are much better. You're making a lot more money than you would be in Tennessee because the median income is almost $30,000 higher. That is like basic economics. Can I be an economist now? I'm ready. Hire me. I can't tell if Prageru, you are dumb or deceptive. Perhaps both. Or they're fascists paid by oil billionaires and they don't they don't fucking care.
If you're a big corporation or a small company looking for a business-friendly environment, affordable housing, or maybe just a better quality of life, where are you going to go?
How many corporations are watching your videos? I mean, I guess Prageru, that seems about right. That tracks. Most companies don't care about affordable housing and quality of life. Don't give this to me. Earlier in the video, you just said you didn't like regulations. Now you're talking to me about quality of life? Get out of here. Listen, as a business owner, it's my right to make my employees breathe in ammonium nitrate every single day when they go to work. This is my business. I am a job creator. You should be kissing my boots. This is actually a really bad argument.
Where are you going to go? The tough decision is not choosing a red state or a blue state. The tough decision is which red state to move to.
No, if you're a business looking for a new place to go, you're not going to choose based on like any of this weird arbitrary criteria he's going. You're going to go where your market is. This is basic economics. Let's say I'm a manufacturer for surfboards, right? Or I'm selling surfboards. Go to the beach. Yo, what's up, dudes? Probably not gonna open up a retail shop for my surfboards here in Arizona. Am I? Arizona, landlocked state. There's no oceans. We got a few lakes. We don't really have enough lakes here to provide a large enough market for like surfboards. Maybe you'll be lucky and you'll be like one or two surfboard shops in Arizona, and it's like, oh, it's a neat novelty thing, but you're not going to do that. You're going to go where the market is. This is fucking business, man.
Okay, for what it's worth, I actually found 2 different shops in the Phoenix metro area that seem to sell them and just focus on surfboards.
Everything else that pops up here is either incorrect, out of business, or is just a general sporting goods store. If you want to open up like a nice walk-in bar or like a dive bar or a restaurant, you're going to put it somewhere that gets a lot of foot traffic. If you put it like out of the way, like in the suburbs, if you live somewhere with enough people who are interested, maybe. But you know that it's kind of an important thing. You got to judge where your market is before you put a business there. Otherwise, boop, you're going to fail. Do you want to go to a blue state or red state? No. The question is which red state to go to. No, this doesn't factor into any of this. Also, Arizona is not red. Arizona is blue. Thank you. I thank you.
Progressives like to say that this isn't about economics, it's about weather.
The fuck? I didn't say anything about weather. We're only halfway through this. Oh my god. Like I said, this one's got a lot more dumb shit in it. The question isn't, do you want to go to a blue state or red state? The question is, which red state to move to? Progressives say, this isn't about economics, it's about weather. What does that have to do with anything? Man, it's just ping-ponging around. Pew, 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 pew.
The red states tend to be in the south and southwest where the weather is warmer. But that doesn't explain why so many people are leaving California, which has the best weather in the country.
Okay, make up a straw man, attack that, accuse your opponents of not adhering to the straw man.
So what does explain the migration from blue states? Start with taxes.
Oh, that's all we get about weather? Okay. Weather in California is nice, I will admit. I wouldn't mind like living there someday.
Start with taxes. The 2 most populous blue states, California and New York, have the highest tax rates in America, while the 2 most populous red states, Texas and Florida, have no income tax at all. When taxes get too high, people move to where taxes are lower.
This is asinine and leaving out a hell of a lot of information.
The problem for the high tax states is that these people take their money, their ambition.
Okay, he doesn't address it. He just moves on to the next thing. All right. Okay, we can talk about why this is bullshit too. What he's neglecting to tell you, Texas and Florida still have taxes. It's just not income tax. If I remember this correctly, the taxes in Texas and Florida, while there's no income tax, you pay slightly higher rates in property taxes and sales tax compared to like California and New York. Here we are. As we can tell by this chart here, Texas has the number 7 highest property taxes in the United States. California is number 35. Hey, they never mentioned that in the video, did they? Wonder why Prageru specifically cherry picks and only talks about income tax when they talk about fleeing states and moving to other red states.
Hey, so just to add really quickly in here, California does have the largest income tax rate of all the states, but this tax rate only applies if you are within the top bracket. So for most people, there are several other states where you will actually be paying more in taxes than you would in California. It all depends on which tax bracket you fall in. Prageru seems incapable of understanding progressive taxation, or of course, it just benefits them to not explain it properly. Also, New York does not have the highest income tax rates, even by this metric. While the upper tax bracket in New York is higher, it's a bit behind other states.
Another fun thing to point out here. States with no income tax. There are 7. Alaska, Florida, Nevada, South Dakota, Texas, Washington, and Wyoming. 2 of these are blue states. His argument is people are leaving blue states and going to red states because there's less taxes. And the example he uses are Florida and Texas have no income tax.
But Nevada and Washington also have no income tax, and these are blue states.
But he didn't bring that up. I wonder why.
When taxes get too high, people move to where taxes are lower. The problem for the high tax states is
Also, okay, how fucking spoiled and out of touch do you have to be to think that people actually do this regularly? Oh, I pay too much in taxes. I'm gonna go move to another state. How much fucking money are you making? The vast majority of Americans don't do this. They're not capable of doing this. They don't want to do this. Leave where you live, leave all your friends and family behind, and go hundreds, if not thousands of miles away, someplace where you don't have any connections, you may not have a job, you don't have any friends. But the people who do this, are the kind of people who are going to be shaving hundreds of thousands of dollars off of their income tax bill by moving from one state to another. Every time I look at my paycheck and I look at the amount taken in taxes, it's like, this is nothing.
then there's crime. Do blue cities do better than red cities?
I'm willing to bet by per capita. Probably. But there's more people anyway, so maybe not.
The answer, of course, is no. Of the 20 cities with the highest murder rates, 18 are run by left-leaning Democrats.
But like I said, East St. Louis, Illinois, population 26,000, total murders 27. Oh wow, that's such a high, horrible number.
Hey, editing attack here again. I know I keep dragging out the time it takes to edit this, but I keep coming up with more stuff I gotta add. So he was talking about the 20 cities with the highest murder rates, 18 are run by left-leaning Democrats. When you go to the Prageru page and look at their facts and sources, we can find the link for the claim. But when we click it and we check it out, but when you read this, it doesn't actually lists cities by murder rates. It's violent crime rates. This page is very heavily biased in his favor, and it doesn't even say what he says it says. It also says that these are all Democrat cities because the mayors are Democrats. It also lists all their names, which is really strange to me.
I like that he said, what about crime? And then immediately goes to murder. I guess it's like the obvious metric. So you know what, Mr. Moore, I'll give you this point. Good job.
For the most part, have been for decades. And these cities aren't getting safer, they're getting more dangerous.
That's objectively not true. We can show this one easy. He gets a cherry pick, so do I. All right, murders, most recent years. Oh, here we are. There's a graph. Look at this. Look at this. Ah! Oh no, what's this?
And these cities aren't getting safer, they're getting more dangerous.
Oh, is that so? Oh, is this what that is? This right here? This is what getting more dangerous looks like? Are you sure about that? He cherry-picked New York earlier, so, wow. Isn't, by and large, like, all crime is down across the United States anyway? Like, pretty much everywhere. So, as you can see, it's peaking up here on the end in 2016, 2015. This is true. Looking at the broader picture, it is kind of flatlining here. Not exactly what I would say getting worse. U.S. property crime. Boom. That's a massive drop. That's easy. Check that out. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Everything is dropping. This is murder, rape, robbery, aggravated assault. All of them are dropping since the 90s. I'm like almost 2 hours into a 5-minute video. I hope y'all know that.
And these cities aren't getting safer, they're getting more dangerous. A good chunk of Minneapolis was burned to the ground as a result of riots following the death of George Floyd.
Ha! There it is. There it is. Oh, yeah. There we go. There we go. This is what I want. Shit's on fire, yo. No, that sucks. Wow. They torched a few buildings here. Okay, I'm willing to say buildings burned. That's bad. That sucks. That really does. You're not going to hear me argue against that. But here's the problem. I don't know if you can count like one large riot after something like that as an example of a city getting more dangerous. Okay, actually, I take it back. The city is more dangerous. He is right about that because George Floyd was fucking murdered by the police. Yeah, city's pretty dangerous for him, wasn't it? That's not the argument he meant to make, though. Damn, Dennis Prager, why are you hiring radical far-left socialists to do videos for your channel now? This is crazy. This is like a weaselly anecdote of an example to use to justify your claim that cities are getting more dangerous. You should give like some crime stats or something. His argument was cities are not getting safer, so the evidence he provides is, well, there were some riots in Minneapolis after the police fucking murdered a guy. Give me something a little more than that.
Portland had over 90 consecutive nights of rioting. Not peaceful protests, rioting.
He had to get that in there, huh? At some point, I stopped paying attention to some of this stuff. I take it back. I'm not even going to engage with this. I thought about it, but I'm not even gonna. That's a nice face we've paused on. It looks like a rat. We've moved from economics to those liberals. The rioters! Cities aren't safe! What? The economic arguments aren't going to stand on their own? Or you made this whole video with this purpose in mind so you could shit on these people? So you can shit on the legacy of Black Lives Matter? Alright, whatever. This isn't even an argument for me to address.
Seattle allowed an entire section of the city to declare itself an autonomous zone. A first in American history.
A first in okay, I don't know what that's supposed to mean. There's been plenty of people who've done this is my land. I am succeeding from the Union. It's just one guy in 2 acres of his property. Did he say Seattle allowed?
Seattle allowed an entire...
Yeah, okay. They didn't allow it. It just kind of happened, and then they were well, whatever. I'm not really too familiar with the area of Seattle. He's got it grayed out, so it's big giant buildings right next to the Space Needle. If I remember correctly, it was only 3 blocks, and some people put up barricades, and it was a lot of homeless people. Oh wait, what would he say? They weren't homeless people, they were rioters. Is there
autonomous
more to
zone.
this?
A first in American history.
First in American history.
Progressive governors,
Okay, he abandons it. Okay, Mr. Moore, what if I'm someone who doesn't know anything about that autonomous zone? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You have no evidence for anything. This is just you signaling to an audience who's already familiar with it and hates it for whatever reason. I know, blue city bad.
Mayors, progressive police chiefs run all of these cities and states.
Progressive police.
Ask any resident of Los Angeles or San Francisco about the rise in homelessness, and you'll get a litany of horror stories. Both cities, of course, have a long history of progressive mayors. How about keeping us healthy?
Okay, so he inserts a point about homelessness and doesn't say anything with it. Wow, this guy is horrible at stringing together sentences and arguments. Progressive governors, mayors, and police chiefs run these cities. That's why there's a rise in homelessness in San Francisco and Los Angeles. The fuck? You're missing a few steps here. You're not connecting them at all. How is this the case? How is that contributing to that? How are progressives in politics contributing to a rise in homelessness? No, you need to make the argument. Just saying it is not an argument. You need to connect the two. Just saying it is just signaling to people who already have an opinion about this.
Homelessness. And you'll get a litany of horror stories.
Yes, I will say there are a fair amount of stories that's that guy just started jacking off on the bus and was staring at me. that happened. Some guy's jacking off on the bus and staring at me. And it's I don't sit there and I think, oh wow, this is the fault of my Democratic mayor. I sit there and think, wow, that guy's probably got severe mental problems. I probably shouldn't get close to him. This is a real shame he's not able to get the help he needs because we live in a country that doesn't value providing healthcare to people. That's usually what I think of it. This is funny because he mentioned weather earlier. He's progressives say it's about weather. Well, I'm bringing it up now. You didn't really tie it to anything before, but it ties to this. Why are there so many homeless people in San Francisco and Los Angeles? Huh? They don't have freezing temperatures there. Golden Coast down in California, very, very, very rarely does the weather there get to be freezing. Not only that, we've got other states and cities across the union literally paying for bus tickets for homeless people to go to California. Just take them out of their town and dump them in California. Instead of helping homeless people, cities are busing them out of town. Homeless residents got one-way tickets out of town. Many returned to the streets. Yeah! Texas may not be the main source, but Newsom is right. A lot of the homeless in California are not from here. They came from America to take advantage of us. The vast majority of San Francisco's homeless people also come in from, and we know this, from Texas. It's just an interesting fact. Wow, so that's a hell of a deal. Texas ships California homeless people, and California sends tech companies back to escape the homeless people. Bust out how America moves its homeless. Each year, U.S. cities give thousands of homeless people one-way bus tickets out of town. An 18-month nationwide investigation by The Guardian reveals for the first time what really happens at Journey's End. Florida cities provide one-way bus tickets for homeless people. Huffington Post. There's also an episode of South Park about that, where the homeless people are zombies. And the solution of the episode is they ship them all to California.
How about keeping us healthy and safe? Surely the progressive states with their strict lockdowns did a better job saving lives from the coronavirus.
So in the second half of this video, this guy has just lost his mind and doesn't have any real arguments. It was just trying to signal to as many different things as he can. It makes sense. This video came out in October, so it's the month before the election. Just trying to get as many things as he can to whip as many people into a fury as he can. Surely these states did better because of their aggressive lockdowns. Do they have aggressive lockdowns? I don't know. I do know Arizona, what he called a red state, which had a Republican governor, I might add. We had the largest infection rate for quite a while. I think we're still number one. It's insane because our governor just doesn't fucking care.
Nope. Adjusted for population, as a resident of New York, New Jersey, or Illinois, you were 3, 4, or even 5 times more likely to die of the virus than if you lived in a red state like Florida, Texas, Georgia, Utah, or Arizona.
I don't think that's true. Wait, he said you're more likely to die if you live in these 3 states? Why are you picking out these 3 again? It's kind of strange. 3, 4, or 5 times more likely to die than these states? Oh no. Oh no, he's actually lying. He's wrong about this. Arizona death rate per 100K, 154. 132 New York. We're about 20 higher in Arizona than New York. So he just lied. Comparing these 3 states, which have much more densely populated, very massive population centers, to these 5 states, these are all a lot more rural. Georgia also voted blue. Good job, fucking idiot. So what is his, what argument is he making here? It doesn't even make sense.
Utah or Arizona. Progressives and liberal Democrats may mean well.
Okay, he doesn't have an argument. Oh my God.
Nope.
He doesn't explain why those red states, 2 of which are actually blue, he doesn't explain why they would be doing better, even though some of them are not doing better. He doesn't explain what it is about them that are doing better, what it is about blue states and their progressive leaders and their lockdowns that mean they're doing worse. He doesn't explain that. This is trash. And people watch this and they're like, yeah. I'm willing to guarantee those measures and lockdowns in those blue states probably did do a hell of a lot, because there's a lot more people there and there's a lot more deaths than the other examples he used. Probably slowed things down by a hell of a lot, and it would be a lot worse if they didn't do it. Now, that's not something he would address, though.
Progressives and liberal Democrats may mean well.
Okay.
They certainly talk a lot about how much they care about the poor, minorities, and the working class. Yet somehow it's always the poor, minorities, and the working class who pay the price for their bad policies.
You didn't substantiate any of that, though. You tried to, and you said it, but you didn't connect any of these dots. My God. Poor, minorities, and working class. Poor get COVID? You didn't say anything about that. Minorities get arrested? You didn't say anything about that. In fact, you seem to be kind of against the Black Lives Matter, but you didn't explicitly say it, but you were rubbing up against it. And the working class taxes. Working class are not fucking burdened by taxes.
That's why those who can move do move.
The working
those
class
who
moves.
can't get stuck with the short end of the stick. Red state America is prospering. Blue state America is in meltdown.
Red state America has lost more jobs over the last several decades, that to the point now where there are entire cities where there's like basically no more work. They used to have big manufacturing, big mines. It's all gone now. People keep leaving and people keep going to larger cities. Not necessarily to blue states, mind you. People go to places where they can find work and jobs. And I'm sorry to tell you, for a large, massive chunk of this country, it's not there anymore. And it's frankly never coming back. That's not even to mention that rural areas have massive fucking opioid problem. It's just decimating people. Of course, Mr. Moore here would not explain that to you. Definitely not before an election. And it's funny he's talking about like poor people and minorities get stuck. How many people are stuck in small towns and small communities and they can't work? They can't work and save up enough money to leave because it's just no work. It's a lot more than he would tell you.
Red state America is prospering. Blue
Objectively not true.
state America is in meltdown. So where do you want to live?
He didn't even substantiate how we're in meltdown. Like the closest thing he came to it was there were riots in some cities. I don't want more riots, but it seems like it's over. Probably not going to happen again.
I'm Stephen Moore, economist at Freedom Works for Prageru University.
My God.
Thank you for watching this video. To keep PragerU videos free, please consider making a tax-deductible donation.
So if I like have a second brain aneurysm right now and die on stream in front of all 11 of you, someone come to my house and cut off a finger of mine and like mail it to this guy, okay? Make sure he gets it in the mail. Just put it in an envelope. Don't even wrap it. Like he holds the envelope and there's like blood dripping out of it. Make sure he gets it, okay? Can you guys do that? Because this one took longer to go through than any of the other PragerU videos up to this point. Because this guy filled it with so much more bullshit and misinformation than any of the other people have. This is ridiculous. This is very clearly a right before the election video. Let's whip as many people into a frenzy as we can. In 2012, a Virginia court held Moore in contempt of court for failing to pay his ex-wife $300,000 in spousal support, child support, and other obligations in his divorce settlement. During a 2016 debate on the minimum wage, Moore stated, "I'm a radical on this. I'd get rid of a lot of these child labor laws. I want people starting to work at 11, 12. When he talks about how he wants to get rid of regulation, that's apparently what he means. He wants to bring back child labor. Moore is a climate change conspiracy theorist. In 2009, he described climate change as the biggest scam of the last 2 decades. In columns and op-eds, Moore called those of concerns about climate change Stalinistic. Interesting. And has accused climate scientists as being part of a global conspiracy to obtain money via research grants, asserting that a tidal wave of funding revealed a powerful financial motive for scientists to conclude that the apocalypse is upon us. Mentally stable genius, Stephen Moore. Moore asserted in a December 2018 appearance on CNN that Federal Reserve was causing deflation in the economy, although Commerce Department data showed there's constant inflation. April 2019, Moore asserted deflation was the whole reason the economy was so poor in late 2018, although inflation was 2.2 in the fourth quarter of 2018. Wow. So, like, he's not an economist at all. He's just, like, a crazy guy who makes shit up. So that was horrible. I just finished editing that. That was the worst one yet. That video had like more lies and misinformation than the last 10 PragerU videos did. But we did it. It's done. Special thanks to the December patron backers. Dios, Elsie Hupp, George, Jerry Palama, Laura Day, and Mellow Cheddar. That one actually hurt a little. Man, PragerU is losing it.